invention, reinvention layering in my world is new technology is invented. There's some new way for people to communicate, do things together, whether it's Flickr or Facebook or Twitter. And then the reinvention is people's age-old social habits coming to affect these new media, right? So you see on Flickr, you see conversations growing up around certain classes of photo, and people are reinventing community. Or on Facebook, you see social networks being used for people to stay in touch, and it's reinventing kind of the idea of the extended family, the sort of friendship tribe. Twitter comes along and it reinvents the water cooler, right? You're not monitoring every conversation all the time because you can't, but you're catching just little bits and pieces of things that keeps you tuned in. And I think that cycle of technological invention, social reinvention is going to continue to drive change for some time. The stuff that's most inspiring to me is the surprise that happens when people get hold of tools that they didn't previously have access to. And they do really new things. You know, the explosion of people experimenting with weblogs as a sort of personal forum, not weblogs as tiny little newspapers, but weblogs really as a way to just talk about their lives in really kind of direct terms. There was nothing like that before. Letter Does the Editor didn't work like that. Call-in radio didn't work like that. There was nothing where you could simultaneously say, this is personal to me and available to readers in general. I mean, digital media is, it's interesting, digital media is the reality for now in two different ways. Everything's being digitized from phone calls to movies. And also, digital networks are the new normal model of distribution. But the clash of those two kinds of digitization, production and distribution, famously around things like digital rights management and trying to sort of let the genie part way out of the bottle, means that a lot of marketers are really caught in this tension between a kind of nostalgia for the old world where you could buy an ad on Gunsmoke and be seen by 45% of the country, and having to push not just into the digitization of content, but really, you know, the digital distribution, which means engaging with people where they are. There's a whole pseudoscience around Gen X is like this, whereas Gen Y is like that, and most of it isn't worth the electrons used to display it on the screen. I mean, it's human motivations are unchanged by technology, right? Only the outlets for the motivations are changed. People want to do interesting work. They want to be paid for it. They want to have friends and family they love. What's sloshing around is the stuff people are willing to do for money versus the stuff they're willing to do for love, right? That's all under consideration. But those two categories of behavior always exist. And I think marketers who tell themselves that Gen X is lazy whereas Gen Y is engaged or whatever are looking in the wrong place, right? The basic human motivations are being filtered through a new set of environments, but it's the environments that are changing, not the people. We should look at what the environment is making easier and harder and assume that people's desires are being filtered through that environment. And when you concentrate on the environmental changes, you can see where things are swinging without attributing it to some deep psychological change.